more. Coming up in a little bit, we'll let you hear how it sounded, some highlights from the weekend. The Phils take 2 of 3 from the Mets, which leads us to our Twitter poll question of the day. Sponsored by Armin Chevrolet. What's the Armin difference? It's simple. It's Armin's people. Well-trained, friendly, and caring together. Let's drive ArminChevy.com. The question is, are you back in on the Phils after winning 2 of 3? They've won 10 of 13 after that loss, losing 9 of 10 there. Have really righted the ship, resiliency, played good baseball without Harper. Without Harper, though. And last night we finally got to hear from Bryce. It's been out for, 2 weeks or so now, in that range?
June 6th.
June 6th, yeah. Yep. So right around 2 weeks. Harper joined the ESPN broadcast last night, spoke on the injury and how he's feeling.
I know Phillies fans are dying to know, what are you hoping for in terms of a timetable of coming back? Sometime next 10 days, something in that range?
Obviously that would be great. I hope everything goes well enough to be able to do that, but I don't want to put a schedule on anything right now because it's so early in the process. We've swung the last 2 days and swung it well. Come on, Ro.
And Rojas pulls it down.
Took 45 swings yesterday, 45 swings again today. Everything went well, so I'm definitely happy about that.
It was something you dealt with a bit last year, yeah?
Yeah, it came on a little bit last year for me, and was able to play through it pretty well, and then went away in the offseason and came back slowly this year, and then got to the point where I couldn't do it. So I thought the best course of action would be, sitting for a couple days and getting it right.
So good, bad. I don't really know. It sounded. Look, you don't love hearing that it was around last year and it lingered, and then it slowly came back this year. And is this something that's going to keep bothering him and all that? But it does sound like, look, he wasn't swinging a bat for a while. He's taken 45 swings the last couple of days. It feels good. He didn't want to put a timetable on it. That's because it felt like it was a lot of I'm not sure, but I'm feeling better. But it was kind of no real clarification on
they don't
exactly
have
how
they don't
bad
have
it is.
to rush him back.
No, nor should they. Look,
how they played.
Take as long as he always rushes back.
Yeah, and that's the point. Yeah, they haven't fallen off a cliff.
And if this is something that was there last year and has lingered, I think the more rest, the better,
This is right wrist inflammation. This is, by definition, lingering. Inflammation, it's chronic. It's not acute. It's the opposite of acute. It's not an injury that just happened. It's a chronic thing, an ongoing saga that goes back. And this is the worst. This is the worst kind of thing. Like for me personally, I had Achilles tendon inflammation, Achilles tendonitis for 2 years. For the last 2 years I was playing, they were on fire. My Achilles, I was trying to tape them differently, leave the heel open while they taped my ankles, trying everything. There's no escaping it. Just when you've got tendonitis or, an inflammation, a chronic condition, it just comes on and it just doesn't leave. Because the only way for it to get better is to rest it until the inflammation is gone completely. You can help it along with ice and stim and anti-inflammatories and trying to flush things out. However you want to try to do that, but it really is just a matter of waiting for it to get better, and that's excruciating. That's worse than the injury itself.
Yeah, well, especially for Bryce, who we know always wants to get back on the field, played through it last year, as we know. And to Rhea's point, I do think if they can keep winning games, it is helpful because it can be like, Bryce, look, we're winning.
Yeah,
he is going on the trip. He was supposed to go to the Miami last week.
Yeah, and then
he decided
he stayed here
at the last minute. But supposedly he is going to Houston.
Okay.
To bat in the cage on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Look, I think overall a positive development, and I do think it is interesting in the whole, what should they do at the trade deadline equation when you look at the Harper thing, and you could look at it on the one hand, it's like he's hurt, and are they going to be as good without him? Can he make it? But the other angle on it is how much more Bryce, great Bryce, are we going to get if he comes back healthy and can give you something? Do you have to like grab that and take advantage of it and try and maximize
He's
it?
33.
Yeah, he's going to be in October. He's turning 33 in October.
Sure. This is, look, Kyle Schwarber. We have, geez, I mean, you hate to name the guys who are getting a little longer in the tooth, but we got some gray beards, like it's just the way it is. And this is the window. Yeah. So let's maximize it. We're not fooling around here. We've got the talent. We've got the fourth highest payroll in all of baseball. This is a team that should be World Series ready, and we are. We just have to hit. We just have to hit. Time it all up. That's the kicker. And right now, man, we're playing some good baseball, and it feels like the team is believing, and that's gonna go a long way. This is a huge series coming up, though. Yeah, no, I mean, what a measuring stick! Now have we finally gotten to the point where our pitching staff, has surpassed that, in my mind, this legendary pitching staff of the Astros back when they won the World Series.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, but look, they got a chance, and I do think this next month, all these series are important because it informs Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton and the decision they make about how all in they're going to go at the trade deadline, a little over a month away. All right, 215-592-9494. We want to get a lot of calls in coming up in a little bit. We'll let you hear how it sounded, the highlights from the weekend, from the series. But again, we want to talk to a lot of callers. Let's start out with our guy, JB in Chestnut Hill. What up, JB?
Good morning. What up, buddy? How you doing?
Hi, JB.
Hey, John. John, you know that the component, the peanut, can be used for explosives?
Yeah. Dynamite.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Look at you two.
That's crazy.
Those could be turned into, nitro. But your strawberries, are you having a growing problem, or do you just stop?
I've buried them in the soil. I mean, they're kind of flimsy to start. So, the tiny, delicate vines, and I've planted them. They're sprouting out of the ground. I think they're doing well, but there's no, flowers or produce or berries or any of that. And, maybe I'm just getting a little ahead of myself, but I've been watering for a while with nothing to
show for it.
Yeah.
What I know about farming can feel a thimble, but I have a friend who does grow them, and you got to check the pH balance, and the soil has to be super light.
Look at you.
Like real soft tilling.
See, this is already more than a thimble's worth, I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
See, that's
a little
interesting.
too much farming.
It's more than I know.
I've been dabbling in throwing some of the coffee grinds into the soil, so I might be messing with the acidity a lot.
They say you don't want it heavy. It's got to be real light.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, man.
There you go.
All right, what do you got on the Phillies,
Good
JB?
point.
So I heard a funny quote during the game last night, and this team is like, my cousin Vinny, when
I heard that too, yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, her biological clock is ticking, and it is. And Bryce kind of sounded a little bit tired and a little bit, I don't know. It didn't sound like he was exuberant and ready to come back. I think the season's weighing on them all, and you got to get an arm very soon, and you got to go all in this year. You have to. There's no other choice, because otherwise this team is going to turn very quickly. It's the top of the roller coaster. It's either going to go down in flames or it's going to be a heck of a ride, because there's a lot of players that are right on the cusp.
Yeah, I think the top of a roller coaster is a good analogy, and I agree with that with this specific group. But to your point of, what else are they going to do? I do think that the decade, 11 years of nothing that we went through after 11 until 22 does have to inform their decisions. Like, I'm with you. Again, I'm at the point where I'm willing to trade guys, but I do think you have to hold some back. I mean, you do have guys on long-term contracts. You got Harper, we're talking about, it's going to be 33 in October. Nola's signed for a long time. Turner, all these guys, you do need some younger talent at very cheap prices to supplement that, to kind of even it out and balance it. So, they are going to need some of these prospects to hit, but on the whole, I agree, they have to be committed to this team.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you may be back on, or at least John and Rhea may be back on not being happy with your producer, because my answer is Raspberry Beret by Prince, and he said I never heard the song.
Oh my God!
No. All right, JB,
What?
great call,
Francisco.
dude. All right, so you're play it coming back from the next break, and you can hear it live.
Only if it's good, though.
Dude, it's Prince.
Phenomenal.
We're done. Yeah,
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Prince
me
songs.
too.
Richie hates me again.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's an awesome song. Raspberry Beret, great answer.
All three of us
potential
love it, and we have very different tastes.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rhea. Yeah, it is a good point. So a little Raspberry Beret coming back. Fran can hear it for the first time. Great answer from JB. JB, that's not your fault. That is Fran's fault. Let's talk to Paul in Downtown. Paulie.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up, Paul?
So, not much, man. So, I'm pretty psyched about the way the Phillies have turned it around. It seems like they've raised the level of their floor, so to speak. And I think a lot of it has to do with something weird that happens, like in team dynamics sometimes, when you see a superstar go down. Collectively, the rest of the group picks it up. And I think we've definitely seen that, here the last couple of weeks since Harper went down. Stott's definitely picked it up. I think Bomer had been coming around anyway, but he's continued. And Trey, like we talked about earlier, he's just been Mr. Consistency. And, so the thing for me is going to be, will the guys that have been scuffling until the last couple of weeks, will they continue to play at this new, better level when Harper returns? And I hope they do, because I think that's going to be the key, to elevating the level of their floor. Like how bad are they when they're not hitting on all cylinders? That's going to make the difference come playoff time. You know, I mean, that's going to be
totally.
That's going to be huge. And
we know. Look, think about the last few playoffs. Think about the huge at bats that Johan Rojas has had, that Brandon Marsh has had. That these guys come up in big spots. That's what happens in the playoffs, and that's why it's so important to not have holes in your lineup like they've been the last few playoffs.
100%. I mean, that having 6 automatic outs is difficult to deal with at any point in the season.
Totally.
It's impossible in October.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I think is interesting is I've kind of been, publicly here on the radio talking about the job that Dusty Waltham does at third base in terms of holding and sending runners. I don't think he does a good job. In fact, I think he's terrible. I think he causes runs. They brought it up. They highlighted it in the game last night. I think it's probably a nothing burger. But the guys, at least Schwarber, was caught completely ignoring Dusty's signals.
Yeah, no, he ran right through it. Yeah,
I was shocked that he went.
And he scored somewhat easily. He slid, but it was
something that I was just wondering if it's something that might affect team dynamics in some way, because I think they're better off as runners looking at the ball, making up their own mind, and completely ignoring the coach on third base. I think that guy cost us runs.
I get it. I don't think it affects team dynamics. I don't think they're in the clubhouse being like, "Man, can you believe Dusty sent him? He's screwing us." Like, I don't think that happens.
But can a coach get in sort of a bad?
I mean, look, you could do a bad job as a third base coach. Guy. I don't know that he has cost them games with it, Paul. But
I don't know that he's cost games, but he costs runs. He's too conservative. There's too many times our guys.
I do agree with you. He is conservative. I agree, for a team that, has gone through stretches of not scoring runs, I do think they need to capitalize in those situations. But at the same time, too, Schwarber's slow, Boma's slow, Castellanos is slow. Seriously. So it is something where if you're Dusty, you're not just weighing the situation, but you're weighing the guy running. And he might, maybe it's a edict where they're like, hey, be more conservative with the slow guys because we don't want to see them get caught at home again, So I generally don't disagree with you, Paul, but I don't know if it's as big a deal as it feels like it is to you.
And lastly, just on Rhea, I feel bad for people. Generally speaking, I don't feel bad for people that don't enjoy healthy food. Like, you tell me you don't like broccoli, I'm right there with you. I hate that stuff. But not liking honey, I feel bad for you.
I didn't know where you were going with this.
I didn't either. I was like, wow, where could this go?
It is wonderful.
Not liking honey is like not liking pizza or not liking air conditioning.
It's like,
I just feel bad for you.
There are certain things in life that you would just describe as like a joy of life. Like one of the joys of life. Honey feels like a joy of life.
I don't like super sweet
100%.
stuff.
Man, it's like there's a word, ambrosia. Like when I think of the word ambrosia, I think of how do you describe like something that's like nectar of the gods?
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
Nectar. Yeah,
honey's the closest thing.
You're right. You're right.
So
and I don't like
4
broccoli,
years of my
but I
life,
do
I
like
didn't
broccoli
like
rabe.
There you go. All right. Paulie, yeah, right? That jives. Paulie, you got a answer for us, food in the title? Speaking of food, right?
Yeah. The greatest food of all time to me is pizza, so I'm going with the lamest answer ever, Mystic Pizza. Just,
I love
It's
that
not that
movie.
lame. Why does he think that's such a lame? It's a good
It's
movie.
a great movie.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck is in that
young
movie, like
Julia.
a young,
That's the first time I remember seeing Julia when I was young.
Or no, I'm sorry, Vince Vaughn. I'm just
I
meant Vince
young
Vaughn.
Julia Roberts. Really,
Yeah.
that's a really good answer.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it
it's
is
a good little movie.
Yeah, it is a good little movie. 215-592-9494. Coming up in a couple minutes, we'll play you how it sounded. A montage of the weekend's highlights, the ups from Friday, the downs from Saturday, and then the ups again from Sunday. By the way, 7 home runs on Saturday.
Ugh.
That was something to live through.
Yeah.
It was something to watch. We'll let you hear the highlights from that, the good and the bad, coming up in a minute. Let's talk to our buddy Ed in Phoenixville. What up, Ed?
Good morning, team. You know what? When I can handle sort of the up and down of Castellanos, the base running, that whole photo finish with he and JT. I didn't see the first half of that play to where how did JT catch him? Was it Cassie not reading the fly ball, or was it JT just being super aggressive?
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
JT had a great read on it. Cassie slow. Cassie didn't have the best read. And it was a combination of those things. And JT just being much faster than Castellanos, which is hilarious.
But it's nice to have that Luzardo stopper to say, okay, there could be a lot of craziness going on in the lineup, but him going out for that 7th inning really showed a lot to me in terms of the guys at almost 100 pitches anyway, and Topper letting him kind of, I think it was important that he pulled him when he did. But
I agree, and credit to Romano. That was a big spot to come in and mowed him down. That was good to see.
Yeah, and I think but going back to Harper, how important he is to the lineup. With Castellanos, you're going to get really hot or you're going to get really cold. With Harper, even when he wasn't hitting, he was getting on base. Same thing with Schwarber. And I think it's just it's gonna put that much more stress on our starting pitching to where I don't know where it's gonna come from. Cassie's not gonna magically start drawing walks. He's never drawn 50 walks during a season in his
Yeah,
career.
and it's really hard to walk when you only see one pitch per at bat too. It makes it really
He
tough.
loves that first pitch.
Unbelievable. It's almost like after the thing in Florida happened, he's like, all right, well, screw you. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want. He's going to swing at every pitch. It's crazy,
He's hitting them.
Yeah, hey, yeah, exactly.
It's crazy that he hits
It's harder to get
thing.
mad at it when you're hitting it, but to, Ed's point, we know that Cassie can get cold, and, when he is swinging freely like that, maybe he's not taking the way he has been a lot this season. So it is important that he stay within himself.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just hope that he kind of figures that out. But I don't know if it was this series or the series before, but Brandon Marsh, I'm still not really in on him yet. But it seems like every time I see him against a left-handed batter, he had a hit. I think it was Friday or maybe Thursday.
He's been pretty good this year comparatively. I think his career OPS versus lefties is 592, and he's 7 something this year, 750
and they're
or something like
face
that.
a bunch in Houston.
Yeah,
right?
and look, with Rojas becoming Johan Rojas again as an offensive player after that nice start to the season. Marsh is important. Obviously, we all hope they add an outfield bat, but Marsh is important. Marsh is going to play. He's clearly their 4th outfielder if they do trade for somebody. He might even start instead of Kepler and left in certain games and all that type of stuff. So Brandon Marsh, and again, I'm with you, Ed. I really need to see it in the playoffs before I'm going to be fully in on Brandon Marsh, but credit where due again. It's after a disastrous. He got sent to the freaking minors. That's how bad Brandon Marsh was.
I wasn't buying that injury.
Yeah, me neither. That felt like a phantom IL. But then has rebounded. So credit there. I need to see it longer and in big spots. But there are certainly reasons for optimism with Brandon Marsh where there weren't before, Ed.
Exactly. Started dipping my toes back in. So anyway, I got my answer. And it's so funny you guys are talking about growing vegetables, John.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the movie that, it's one of my favorite Disney movies. I think it's a Disney movie, and it got my daughter into cooking. I'm going to say Ratatouille.
So I've been waiting for it. It's a potential winning answer.
Awesome.
Great one. I actually saw Anthony Bourdain apparently said he thinks it's the best food movie ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
It's a love letter to cooking.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It really is.
It's a great movie. All right, 215-592-9494. Back to the phones in a minute. Plus, again, your chance to that answer you heard there. If you give us the best answer for a title of a book, a movie, a TV show, whatever, that has food in the title or drink in the title, any kind of food or drink. It could be water in the title, anything. Best answer is going to win Bare Naked Lady tickets. We'll pick the winner at the end of the show. Coming back to the phones in a minute, but in case you missed it, in case you're just waking up, in case you saw Friday but missed last night, whatever, the weekend. Phillies win 10-2 on Friday, lose 11-4 on Saturday, and then a 7-1 dominant victory yesterday in the rubber match to win the series. Here's a little taste of the weekend itself, the highlights, the ups and downs. Here's a little montage of the weekend.
Swing and a miss, struck him out. Wheeler takes a peek back at Phil Cuzzy. Says, I got him anyway. Castellanos coming around third. JT is right behind him, and they both score! 8-2, Phillies lead it. In a foot race for the plate, JT nearly caught Castellanos. Back, track, wall, gone! Over the angled wall. Nick Castellanos with an exclamation point. And it's hit deep to right. And the Mets have gone back to back to back as Juan Soto smokes one into the lower seats in right field. Pitch swung on, hit high in the air, deep right field. And that's another home run for the Mets and another second deck home run for the Mets. Going back on it, Taylor to the track, looking up, it is gone! Off the ivy in dead center as Kyle Schwarber with number 24. Taylor going back, looking up, and that ball is gone! It's a 3-run home run for Edmundo Sosa. They're all standing now for Luzardo as his first foray into the Phillies-Mets rivalry is a successful one. And he leaves to a lot of cheers here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies win it, and they win the series here this weekend as the Phillies once again take over sole possession of first place in the East.
So much to react to from the weekend. Luzardo, you heard there the ovation leaving the field. He does feel like he's got that kind of big game feel to him. He hasn't pitched in many big games, but he gets so competitive. And to your point, coming back out for that inning and you're trying to give them all he had. I'm excited to see Luzardo in some big spots.
107 in that one. Yeah, and that's the thing. All of our guys get to those deep spots, and it just feels like, man, we are so quality, such high quality. We're stacked. Why? You listen to those, the highlights, it's so awesome thinking back. The picture in my mind's eye from the weekend, the Mets defense. Why did it seem so sparse? I mean, there was...
it felt like a lot of balls dropped. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
It
totally.
was. It just so happened. Like,
I don't know.
Are they that bad positioning-wise, or were we that lucky with where we were hitting the ball, or that skillful with hitting the ball where they weren't? I guess. It looked like it always took forever. I mean, when Casty's driving Kyle Schwarber home from first base.
Totally.
It's taking quite a while for them to get to the ball.
Yeah, I think it's probably more luck than anything, but maybe some bad positioning, some bad defensive alignments. But I'm with you. I noticed that all weekend long. It felt like a lot of the little bloop things where you're like, oh, they got that.
Yeah.
It would fall in. Now, we do have to talk about one negative in terms of a ball falling in, because he has been a topic of conversation defensively last week in Miami and the whole thing. That Castellanos play, where he missed the ball and essentially was in foul territory as the ball went fair. I mean, it might be the worst read on a fly ball I've ever seen in my life. I mean, could you be more raw? He was standing in foul territory and the ball's falling fair. Rhea,
bizarre.
That was crazy.
Well, I don't expect him to do a lot defensively,
I agree.
but that just appeared that like he lost focus.
He just lost, yeah. Which again, and Richie, you brought this up last week, and I thought it was a really important thing to remember with the whole Castellanos being pulled late for defensive replacement, and getting upset, then he doesn't get pulled the next few games. That whole thing, you pointed that out. Was it 2 years ago or something where he came out and talked about how during the regular season, he loses focus and he
Hard
struggles
to stay focused out there.
Yes. So it's like
outfielders in Little League.
Yes, and you know what? You know who I would like to replace late in games? An outfielder who might not be locked in at all times. Sure. So I thought that was a fascinating point, and it'll be interesting to see this kind of continue, like the Casty right field thing, the attitude, whether he gets replaced again.
There are remnants. There's still some begrudging going on.
Yeah.
And, so far it has sort of given him Hulk strength. He in Hulk smash mode is swinging at everything and connecting. Now, what happens if he gets cold and he stays in Hulk smash mode? Then everyone's going to be pretty ticked, and we lose some games because he's swinging at everything and missing because they start pitching low and away again, outside the strike zone.
Yeah, it's a small margin for error with that. Yeah, so no, it's going to be fascinating, though, to track that. And I'm really interested to see, because we know it happened 2 straight games in Miami. After he benched him for the game and came back, 2 straight close games, he did not replace him late.
I thought it was hilarious on Thursday. Now, I was off on Friday. And I was laughing when I saw, how the game ended.
Oh, my God, it's unbelievable.
And I was not the least bit surprised that not only was he back out there, that they weren't going to pull him.
Oh,
it didn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, and I definitely think it was because of the reaction,
and then
all that.
celebrated. Oh, I
know. Let me rip my
so
shirt
proud.
off.
I'm so excited.
Like the
for
Hulk,
him.
actually,
and
ironically.
He did the Hulk smash shirt rip.
Yeah. So
How about
it is, and I'm very excited about the team. Like I said, I'm in on this group. I would make moves as of now at the deadline. But I do think that is a lingering thing. How Topper handles it. Will he be willing to remove Casty in situations where he clearly should moving forward? How does Casty handle it?
They have to communicate better, because what's clear to me is that Castellanos didn't expect it.
Oh yeah, which is crazy, because I'm sure they talked about it at least to a certain point.
And we played that sound but I'm still
Scott Fransky said that they talked about, or that Topper told him that
he absolutely is sure he told him.
Yeah.
It's not the same as saying he told him that night.
For sure.
But I think it's something that they have to communicate on. And I think that there was a lack of communication. And I don't mind Castellanos getting angry for getting pulled out. I prefer players. I like when people are upset when things aren't going right. Mm-hmm. I do. To me, the stoic guys never work for me. It never has. So I didn't mind it, but I think they both. And Thompson, especially, because you're the manager.
Yeah,
communicate better.
Totally. And look, yeah. I like some fire too, but I also, within reason.
I got the impression he was disparaging toward a teammate, though. That was part of it.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. That would be my best guess, because I don't know. I don't think he said something like horrible to Topper about him. Like I don't think he called him some name or something. That'd be why he benched. I think the most likely explanation for why he got benched was he's like,
you're benching me, but not other
that
people.
Guy, or you're putting this whatever in for me
guy.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So. I agree, but it's if nothing else, I think it is an interesting thing to monitor. 215-592-9494. Let's go back to the phones and talk to our buddy Black Gritty. What up, Bo?
Baby mama, Slim Ritchie, Rhea. Could you guys patch me over to Rod's number? The radio show's been sounding really good today. I'm just trying to leave a message on his voicemail, trying to figure out what it is, and we can get it back on the schedule. You know what I mean? People talking articulately, knowing what honey is. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, there's weird things going on. I'm not used to people having information.
It's a good question. Do you think Joe has ever had honey? It's a great question.
It's possible he has never tasted honey.
It's absolutely possible he's never tasted.
And it's possible he never will.
Yeah.
Ask him about ambrosia, just for good comedy. Just ask him about ambrosia.
Joe,
no
what
chance.
Is ambrosia?
No chance.
His brain will sizzle. You know what I'm saying? His brain will sizzle. Hey, guys.
You know what, though? He might be listening to us right now.
Yeah.
So is it possible that even... he's not one to do research, but is it possible...
Osmosis. He's not that bright, unless he's in the bathtub with a book. It's not how he rolls. So let me talk about the finals last night, and I want to talk about the Phils, because it kind of rolls together. So I watched OKC fumble 3 Hall of Famers in their prime that took them to a finals. They fumbled them away, lost everything, traded all that away, worked their way back to a finals and win one in a time span that the Sixers have done what? So everybody on the internet talking about, Halliburton's out and Tatum's out, and next year could be our chance. You are a moron. You are an idiot. You are one of the dumbest people in America. You, like me, are a Sixers fan. I know I'm a fan. I'm just not that dumb. If people don't want Ace Bailey, I want Ace Bailey. I want a dog. I want somebody who's going to show up for practice mad, who wants to prove to the world that he's somebody and doesn't want to be on a trash organization like the Sixers. Everybody, he doesn't want to be here, don't take him. I got a dude not showing up for practice. I got McCain and Maxey, who I love, but they're so happy and positive. I want somebody angry to go to work and do their job and show everybody that they were wrong. You better draft this kid, because anything else, I don't know is going to happen. Now, that rolls into the Phillies. James, the Phillies are winning the World Series this year. The Phillies are winning the World Series. And the only way they're going to win it is to make major moves at this deadline, bro. My window is shrinking. You talking about the future with Turner? Turner's getting worse by the day. His defense is trash panda. Okay, he's at the plate hitting stuff cool. Bryce, thank you for choosing me. But Topper doesn't defend you out there on the plate. You get hit every other week. You're injured every year. We need to make moves now. I want to win today. I'm looking at OKC, looking at a decade in between getting back to the finals. My team is going backwards year after year. You better make these moves, Dombrowski, and get me this World Series, because this is our year to win. I don't care about the future. I don't care about the past. I care about right now. What was the question?
Food or drink at a title?
So I'm going to keep the ball rolling with stuff that the young Thundercat doesn't know. I want to say Cocktails with Tom Cruise. That's a classic. It's not a winning answer.
Yeah.
I just know he's never seen
Cocktail,
it.
that counts. I think Cocktail is a drink.
Dumb movie.
Yeah, it is a dumb movie.
Really dumb movie.
No, it is.
It's a really dumb movie.
Yeah.
But he's never seen it.
That's one of Joe's favorites.
Yeah, Joe loves Cocktail.
Seriously?
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue in there.
Yeah.
Well, at least I do you some love, Joe. I talk to you guys.
I love
Thank you,
Great
Owen.
call. Yeah.
Missed you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Joe obsesses over that
Loves
movie.
Cocktail.
In
Big
a
fan.
really gross way.
It just makes you
The
uncomfortable.
way he
Do
talks
not like
about the
that movie in the
waterfall.
least.
And,
Yeah, it is. There's some things about Joe where it's like, all right, not.
keep it away. Which is worse, that or watching him put his foot in his
Well,
mouth?
his foot. in
No,
his
see
mouth.
what you guys are at an advantage, especially you, John, and you, James, from where you normally are in the producer's booth.
Oh yeah,
and
you're
John-
like right in.
I look directly over at his bare feet
Yeah.
every single show, and it
no.
gross. I literally want to go put something over there, like an ottoman or something, so I
Yeah.
don't have to look at it.
Well, it's blocked
horrifying.
from my view. It is horrifying.
Yeah.
You're right. And then they're disgusting hobbit-looking feet, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah, he's got some.
He walks around
Gnarly
with
feet.
no socks or shoes, and I don't know, like there's flip-flops somewhere sometimes, and
You
hobbit
can
feet.
do that at home, but
Yeah,
not
it-
at work.
Well, remember, at
it's
home,
outrageous.
he rubs his feet in.
This is a job.
He
It's a
digs his
place
feet
of
in the
work.
carpet. But I don't know. Does he do that here, too?
Probably.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's
It's
horrifying.
gross.
Yeah, it really is.
Abusing
It's
the
gross.
carpet with
Yeah.
those hobbit feet.
Honestly, can we file like an HR complaint about this or
I
something?
think I
You know?
can,
Yeah.
since I'm being
That's
subjected
true.
to it.
I don't hate this. How funny would it be if like Lisa Morton or Cynthia has to come in and be like, Joe, listen, we have to talk about
You got to put your
keeping
shoes on.
at work. Yes, that's got to be embarrassing. All right, 215-592-9494. Let's go back to the phones and talk to Andy and Deptford. What up, Andy?
Yo, morning team.
We live. We hot.
Yo, you telling me that clown walks around with his shoes off at work? Yo,
All
how
the
disgusting
time.
is that?
All the time, Andy. All the
Oh
time.
man, that's gross.
It is gross.
Grow up.
It very.
But
Yeah.
that's gross. You know who else does that? I think Buzz does that. So
I think
guess
you're
dorks
right.
think alike.
I think
Seriously?
Buzz do that. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yo, but how great is it to where the Phillies are cooking and it's cooking outside? I mean, great time of year.
Look at you,
You know?
wordsmith right there. Yeah, I heard a funny phrase
get-
where it's you're either cooking or getting cooked. You're either holding the pot or you're in it. It's pretty good.
You know what? You
Middle
know
of
what's
that.
tough though. I mean, you look at the Phillies doing really good. You look at the draft this week. I mean, we lucked out and got the number 3 pick. The only other player that's a superstar, Ace Bailey, don't even want to come here. We're looking at possibly a role player at best at 3. I mean, that's just par for the course with the Sixers. Like, that's what we're getting at 3.
Yeah, look, we'll
I'm
see.
I'm with Gritty.
It does seem like the Sixers, quote unquote, lucking out at 3 in a two player, like two studs draft. Feels
I'm
feels
with Gritty.
on brand.
I say just get him. Get the best guy.
I
and
am
see
too.
what happens.
I would just take the guy with the highest ceiling, and I have no problem with him having a little dog in him and all that. Like, look, I wouldn't want to come to the Sixers right now either.
My
This is a
favorite
joke
is,
of an
you know, well,
organization.
he's immature. I'm like, he's 18.
Yeah,
All right,
and
give me a
like
break.
how more immature is he than the way this organization runs? Like,
Correct.
what are we doing here?
Their leader, their so-called leader, Embiid, shows up late all the time.
Yeah, at least this guy seems like he cares about his future. So
I mean, and it could be superstar potential. So, but I mean, you guys just had that top 11, right? The real team in town. You know, you look at the Eagles around here. You know, and quarterback didn't even make it on the camera's top 11 list, right? Other clowns on the midday Spike Eskin always want to rip the quarterback. All we ever wanted in town was a team that always wins, a guy that don't say nothing and wins Super Bowls. I mean, that's all this guy does.
Well, not just that, Andy. I mean, think about like the Sixers team we were just talking about, and Embiid, who has had great regular seasons. He's been an MVP. He's been a runner-up twice. He has had greatness in the regular season. But the reason we look at Embiid the way we do look at him is because he has failed to come through in the playoffs. All Jalen does is come through in big spots, like big
the bigger
games.
the game, the better he plays.
Exactly, right? Like, when did that stop mattering the most to us?
Hey, it's a big difference when your legacy has an L next to it with Embiid as a loser, and then you got Hurts that'll have a huge W next to it as a winner. Huge difference as a fan's perspective, as a overall perspective in Hall of Fame careers, and you know what I'm saying? It's a huge difference when you have that next to your legacy. Because in my eyes, Embiid's going down as a loser. Period.
Jalen's not stopping.
He's the most superstar in this town that has the worst legacy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
In my opinion.
And you got an answer for a food or drink and a title?
Does it have to be a movie?
No, it could be a book, TV show, a song for sure.
Well, I mean, you know, in honor of America, what about American Pie?
Already said.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's switch it up. You guys never really go with hip hop. What about Cream?
Oh, yeah, that's a great answer, actually. A little Wu-Tang. I love that answer. Was not expecting that from Andy. That was a pretty measured call, right?
Ever agree with Andy, but the Jalen Hurts slander,
it's crazy.
That has been going on since like the day after the Super Bowl.
It drives me like Rhea. There are a few things that I get more angry hearing than that.
Yeah, and I was somebody who, you know, during the year I'm like, oh, the past, you know, he wasn't pulling the trigger. That does bother me about him. He wins.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what else you could want. This guy is held, and it's like, oh well, it's the offensive line. It's Saquon Barkley, and I'm going. It's his dual threat ability helps out everybody else too.
Yeah, and
I mean, so like, what are we talking about here?
We spent all these years crushing Donovan, who had great regular seasons.
I was one of them. I was here for
all that.
Yeah,
but you know what? When
game.
he didn't win in the playoffs, when he didn't win at all, guess what? Crushed the guy.
Yeah.
All Jalen does is win in the biggest games. All he does is come through when it matters. Like, that used to be something that was the most important thing to us. And it feels with Jalen, people are kind of shirking that to the side.
There was one insane statement, and I wish I could remember who made it on this radio station, because I would rip them. You know, if so-and-so was here, can you imagine how many more wins the Eagles would have? And I'm like, they've had a lot of wins with Jalen
It's like,
Hurts.
what do you mean more wins? Exactly.
I'm
yeah.
going, okay, what, like, you know.
They go undefeated.
It's almost impossible to have more without being undefeated.
Literally, yes, literally. Jalen lost one game after the week 4 of the season, and it was the one he got knocked out of.
23 was dreadful.
Yeah.
For a litany of reasons, one of which was Jalen Hurts. Was, you know, Nick Sirianni and the defense, but you know,
but look how he rebounded. Look how he came back. What more could he ask for?
For a city that's like, oh, we'll do anything for a championship. Yep. Got the championship. Jalen sucks.
It's. I'm right there, Rhea. I'm like, it really does feel like we've just kind of changed what we ask for and what we want to suit the.
We got a championship now. We would like you to beat Joe Montana for every single game.
He's gonna have 4 rings, and people are like, well, he missed that throw in the third quarter, so you know. Not that great. You know, like, what are we doing here?
I don't get it.
215-592.
Didn't we have somebody not even put him in the top 15?
Yeah.
Is that Shoeless Joe?
Yeah. Shoeless Joe over there. Just a nonsensical. I mean, honestly, it's one of the worst things that's happened on the station. Maybe in my lifetime. That's how bad that list was. All right, 215-592-9494. Let's go back. Ever.
And we did Wing Bowl for years.
Oh, my God. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go back to the phones and talk to Nick in Bucks County. What up, Nick?
Hey, what's up? We got the A-team this morning. Good morning, James, John, and Rhea. How are y'all?
Doing great,
Morning.
Nick.
Good. I'm going to be at that San Diego Padres game. My brother and I are taking my dad to the game.
That'll be a fun
that.
series, and the Padres are good. That's a legit series.
Yeah, they're battling it out in the East over there, so for sure, a great game. John, did you ever get the OxyClean for those jeans?
Yeah, actually, the jeans are awesome.
Yay!
It all
Dude, I'm
worked
so happy for
great.
you, John.
Seemed like it was a real issue.
What a huge difference! Oh my gosh, like life renewed, and these are the greatest ever. They feel like pajamas. Pajamas,
That's
the
awesome,
greatest, and they no longer stink to high heaven.
Well,
it's an important factor. Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of stinking, man, what are we going to do with these Sixers? They're at a crossroads right now. I feel like what they decide on Wednesday night is going to mean the difference between whether or not this team goes, down the drain completely, or if they still have hope left. I'm hoping for Edgecombe at number 3. He's a great perimeter defender. I know we don't really need another guard. What do you guys think?
Look, I want the best player they can get. I don't care what position he plays. I don't care about anything else. I think Ace Bailey seems like he has a higher ceiling than Edgecombe.
Why do you like Edgecombe better than Ace Bailey, Nick?
Well, he's ready to play right now. He's not a project, and he is a defensive stud, and our defense stinks every year.
Yeah,
you can't argue that.
Yeah, I need a star at 3. Anything that I could do to try and maximize.
If this guy's Michael Jordan, it's like, oh my gosh, we don't want to be that team. It does feel like he's got some emotion that could help propel him, but then again, he didn't have the success that I would have liked to have seen at the college level.
It is weird because they had two
both
stars.
of those guys at Rutgers is really strange. I know Harper was hurt at times and stuff like that, but yeah, you would think having 2 top 5 picks, 2 top 3 picks, whatever.
If one of them is
like
Michael
that
Jordan,
alone, you would think.
Yeah, if one of them is the next Michael Jordan, do they fizzle the way Rutgers did, or like Michael Jordan? What did he do? Oh, okay, well, in college, he led his team to the national championship repeatedly.
Yeah. I've gone back and forth
feel.
with Elliot on Ace Bailey. I just go, I'm getting Ben Simmons PTSD.
Yeah, the LSU thing. I think it's a little different, but I get it. Look, I have no idea whether this guy will be good or not, but it does seem like he is the biggest swing of those guys.
I assume whoever the Sixers pick, it'll be a mistake.
Yeah, probably.
That's where I am with them. I mean, it's you're watching that at OKC and even Indiana. I mean, they battled. I mean, they battled to make it a 7-game series.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch them.
Oh, they were a blast. Yeah. I mean, they were the story of the playoffs, even though they didn't win it.
T.J. McConnell was the story of a lot of that. Well, Halliburton, amazing player. It was such a tragic end for him, man. Just nasty, awful injury. And the rehab for that is excruciating from what you hear.
John, the rest of his life, he'll know that at that point in a Game 7, he's on a heater.
Yeah.
And rug got pulled out from underneath.
That's devastating.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
can't imagine.
It's one thing like if you're Tatum and it sucks, but you lose, you tear your ACL in the Eastern Conference. This is it's not even just the NBA. It's Game 7. You're in it. You're in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. This is
put
it.
Your team in position to actually do this.
Yes,
thing
and you're the
against
guy.
all odds.
Yeah, it's
the risk he took. I mean, that was a chance with that injury.
Yeah, and look at
and it bit him.
Yeah, and look, I get taking the risk. Like you have a chance.
You take the risk in Game 7.
Yeah, but that it's a real shame. Nick, you got an answer for us for a food or drink at a title?
I do, but real quick, I want to go back to what Ed in Phoenixville said. That 7th inning with Luzardo, dude, he made Soto look so silly on that strikeout.
That was awesome, and there was some big. It did feel
Soto
like
was laughing.
Yeah, it was cool seeing that because he got fired up, and Soto, they must know each other a bit or whatever. But
it was a cool dynamic, I guess, also between Real Muto and Soto and Luzardo. Like it really was awesome to watch.
It felt like there were a lot of those type of moments and at bats this weekend where the Alonso at bat early in the game, it just felt like a lot of like Soto, it just felt with Soto there, like it felt big. Like this series for a June series, it felt really
I didn't even have to I always checked what time the games are I'm like, oh, this is Sunday Night Baseball. Like I knew. I mean, this is it's just it feels that way.
It did. No, it really did.
Teams.
All right, Nick, you got an answer for us?
I do. One of the most iconic bands of all time, if not the most iconic, and one of their greatest songs, "Strawberry Fields Forever" by the Beatles.
Yo, that's a great answer. We're getting really good answers. That's a potential winner as well. Songs. There's a lot of fertile ground with songs. I'm just putting that out there for the next 2 hours of the show. A lot of fertile ground with songs. Let's talk to our buddy Rick in Easton. What up, Rick?
Good morning, gang. So a couple things real quick. You know, this is the first time in like 80 years since the Phillies and the Eagles have both been in our city. And I don't even know how many cities can say this. The last 3 years, Super Bowl appearance, a loss in the playoffs, Super Bowl win, and the baseball team was in the World Series with also 2 more appearances in the playoffs in 3 consecutive years. If you think about it, it's pretty amazing. But it's a good time to be a Philadelphia fan, especially in the outdoor season and the outdoor team.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Also, I looked at this. You know I'm a numbers guy, Seltz. You know, I think we're the only baseball team right now. I know we need some pieces, and I know it's still early. We have 4 starters with 7 wins or more. We're 7 wins. In an era where it's hard to get wins for starters nowadays, and 3 batters in the top 18 with total hits in Turner, Bohm, and Castellanos. And every time I listen to the show, once in a while I'll hear, when are we going to trade Bohm? When are we going to trade Bohm? You got a third baseman, 28 years old, who really is getting better defensively for $7 million. Is that not a steal at third base?
He's been much better. Look, I think that I think it's fair. The criticism of Bohm has been fair with, you know, the last season. Look, they tried to trade him this offseason because of it, the start of the season this year. But I think while that was fair, we also have to step back and say, you know, he's been awesome for like a month and a half, 2 months. But to that initial point, you know, when the lights are the brightest, when we were just talking about Jalen Hurts, like I need to see Alec Bohm have his head on straight and perform at a high level and not, you know, get frustrated by an out and then, you know, recede into himself or whatever.
We've seen him tank.
Yeah,
We've seen him just go and turtle up. And, you know, the beginning of the season, as an example, he dug a hole for himself because of emotional, I don't know, like lack of, I don't even know what he was lacking. It just wasn't where he needed to be.
Well, I get it, John. I think sometimes in life you take the good with the bad. Rhea, I could not agree 100%. If I hear one more conversation, I know it provokes thought. I know it's a great talk show. If I hear one more conversation about Hurts being in the top 5 or not, if the ultimate goal is to win a ring, and we have 20 draft picks the next 2 years, and you win through the draft, which this city has a hard time doing over the years, and now we figured it out with our football team at least. And I know that McNabb didn't get it done, but Hurts did to team win. The bottom line is, by the way, I have clients in Los Angeles and Boston that listen to this show. It's like arguing who's better, Montana or Bradshaw. Who cares? They're both wearing 4 rings.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Rick.
Real quick, I'll go with my. Let's go with my answer for today: Tequila Sunrise.
Oh, yeah, sure. We're getting some good answers here. That is a good answer. Drinks are fertile ground for potential title, food or drink and a title. Music, a lot of answers there. All right, 215-592-9494.